Hello again, this is Segla here at the World Cup of Indoor Skydiving, GoAirborne Macau 2024. And here, please state your name and tell us which discipline you're competing in and which country you represent.
My name's Ryan Skyneek Alistair Christie. I am with the Netherlands this year, and this year I'm in dynamic two-way and dynamic four-way.
Great.
Yeah.
How did you get started in indoor skydiving?
Indoor skydiving specifically was a birthday present when I was 18 years old, but the seed of flying was due to parents that skydived before I was born. They had a drop zone in the UK, and then they said you can't skydive until you're 18. So then I had a lifelong imagination, you know, imagining just how it would be. And then my 18th birthday, I was taken to a wind tunnel. And the wind tunnel was about to build a new one 20 minutes away from where I lived. And that said to me, this is going to help me with my skydiving career one day. So this is maybe my way into the flying world. So I went over to the tunnel there and said, please, please, please. And they said, not yet. And I had previous skateboarding experience, so they put me on what was called brushboarding, this kind of new surfing concept, a quarter pipe that spun brushes.
Right.
And I was enrolled as an instructor under air kicks. So I was managing to get the instructor rate for wind tunnel time, but I wasn't having to learn all the instructor roles like spotting, because in air kicks they force people to first qualify to such a point before they could use their time to fly.
All right, and then that's quite a history, you know?
Yeah.
So, what motivates you to participate in this championship?
To surround yourself with people like-minded that have a passion for such a unique sport.
All right. How do you prepare physically and mentally for this kind of championship?
I guess physically it comes with, like, I don't drive a car, so I'm always moving around by foot, by bike. I go in the wind tunnel, I find a lot of good exercise in the wind tunnel. It's kind of like a yoga in a way. You find your whole body pressurized in different areas in different ways, so it gives you this kind of nice range of movement. So yeah, physically I like to try to eat good. Sometimes I'm a little bit naughty, but I love to eat good food too.
All right. What specific skills or technique have you been working on?
Breaking into what I would call the infinity axis. We have, let's say, a horizontal and a vertical plane, and we have moves between them. And then we can look from vertical view or a horizontal view and make that same kind of shape. And eventually we realize that there's this kind of infinite axis that we can play with.
Wow, I never heard that one, you know, that's good. No, really?
You're telling me.
All right. Do you have any pre-competition rituals or routines?
I love to, I've kind of done this my whole life actually. It's also therapy, but I like to sit in the pitch black and meditate, listening to the running water. It gives me this sensation over my body. I could say similar to wind. You say tingly, I don't know, like goosebumpy. I try to silence the mind chatter, because the one that's talking in there is telling me things which can, you know, lead to funny stories, but the flying is immediate. The immediate experience of flying is silent. So I try to find the silence outside of the tunnel to then enhance it in the tunnel.
All right. What's the most challenging aspect of indoor skydiving at competitive level?
There's a few things I say. If we were to look into the kind of global situation, we have a quite wide divide with people that were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and some that had to dig through the dirt, let's say. In the wind tunnel, my mum and dad said to me when I was younger with skydiving, you can either afford to do the sport or you need to work in the industry. And I knew that I needed to work in the industry. So yeah, that kind of process went that way. But the most difficult thing for me is, like, my most enjoyable flight is a kind of free flight, let's say. Freestyle. Freestyle being freedom of style. which kind of makes it paradoxical because a freestyle cannot really be restricted. So I feel restricted by regulations.
Okay. How do you handle the pressure during the flight?
Silencing. I think also the kind of re-experiencing the kind of competition energy, because initially you are an individual coming to a stage and you're trying to find acceptance in that stage. For me, it wasn't necessarily winning a competition, it was more being accepted. I've always wanted to be loved by people, and I've tried to love as many people as much as I can. I think it's accurately expressing yourself. That's the most important thing.
All right. Can you describe a memorable moment from previous championships?
I would say a very memorable one was with my current, one of my best friends, also a manager at my work. I first came from England to the Netherlands, and the tunnel I went to skydive, which I'm still currently at, had just opened, and Bas Driesen, his name is, he convinced the board that he should take me to a competition in Vos, the Extreme Sports Veco, to try to, let's say, get attention. That there's a new tunnel in the Netherlands, the two towers, you know, side by side, and he called me the Dutch secret weapon, you know. So I came into this competition. We basically arrived when my round started, and I came in, my style at that point was very extreme, let's say. So I came into this freestyle competition, raring around, and everyone apparently was like, whoa. And that kind of continued. I think the memorable thing is just to be in different parts of the world and to experience the environment around, the people that you meet. It's all quite amazing, really.
What do you love the most about indoor skydiving?
I think it's the kind of immediate sensation the wind gives, the sharing communication in a silent environment, like sharing a smile with someone while you're flying, or to experience the energy of people. One thing that I found through first timers, taking people in and teaching eventually, was recognizing how our energy affects another's energy and how their energy affects ours, and how you can not necessarily change but work with energy, essentially.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now in this sport?
I believe I'll be working together with a brand that's going to be a multi-discipline kind of integration that will allow people to also benefit their lifestyle and health and find kind of well-being in the participation in our brand. I also see maybe one day to be able to produce a freestyle routine that I wish to, with some maybe guidance from someone that has more of a restrictive understanding of how competition works. I'd love to, one day win something, but where do I see myself? I see myself flying still. But I think more so in the sky, because that was always the dream. And this year I'm going to be doing my first ever freestyle competition with Bas Driesen as well. And I'd like to be a sponsored skydiver. That would be the dream.
All right, cool. What's your advice for aspiring indoor skydivers?
Take the examples as a potential understanding of your own way.
All right. You several times mentioned freestyle, but you are not competing in freestyle here now. Why is that?
The sport is very young, and it's watched, judged, and regulated by people that are looking at something they don't understand. But they're using a form to try to understand and regulate and judge a system that I don't think I fit in with at the moment. I feel that I've been given a huge uplifting and appreciation of how I fly as being completely one and unique, but I don't know how to present that yet accurately in a competition.
All right. So now I have a few questions about the tunnel itself. How how do you find it? What's your take on this particular tunnel?
I think it's the best tunnel I've ever flown in before.
Really?
I really do. I think the pressure system is consistent. It has this nice compressive energy. I've only flown half an hour maybe in it, so I haven't had that full access. I haven't used the whole system, the full range of wind speeds. So I'm saying that without much experience of it, but having gone to competitions and flown in tunnels, this has a nice temperature, it has a nice compressiveness, it has a nice exit, a floor that springs. I would love to fly it more to give a more accurate, I'd say I feel like it's a very, very, very good system. And it compares quite nicely to City Skydive, which has a custom built system. And I like this kind of consistent pressure to a nice point.
All right, Ryan, I wish you a successful championship.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for this interview. And thanks for watching, guys.